Yo, 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 welcome back. Bear down. My goodness. The craziness around the Bears team right now, the controversies, the firings, the changes that are happening. It's actually kind of fun. It's stirring things up a little bit. I have hope for Thomas Brown. What I want to address today is something that I did extensively in the offseason, and that's Caleb Williams. Move me off just for a minute. But I did two videos. You see the one top right, a realistic quarterback comparison that compared Caleb to the top other four. Michael Penix wasn't included in this, even though he did end up going higher than some of these other guys. But he wasn't consensus kind of thought of as a top 5 quarterback before the draft started. And then he kind of catapulted up at the end. And then I did another video. So that was off of stats alone. And then I did one after watching game film, who was the top one. I did a realistic comparison of the quarterbacks. And ultimately, I came to the conclusion that we had multiple quarterbacks in this class that could be franchise quarterbacks, that there's not just one. That, yes, if you look at the tape and you watch Caleb and his ability to create, his ability to play off platform, his ability to have his intelligence show, that he's probably the best prospect. But is he generational? I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows. You won't know that for a couple of years. But my point was showing the value of trading down from the Hall. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not taking back the Hall. I'm not trying to revisit it. It's over with. We can't take it back. What I am going to attack today, though, is why so many people are attacking Caleb and his gameplay. And I'm going to show some things on this. Because if anybody had a stance to be able to say, haha, look, I'm right. You guys are wrong. Suck it. You guys are terrible. I could probably do that because I said we probably should take a trade down in a different quarterback. But the reality is we are where we are. You can't take the Hall back. You can't go back and do the Hall now. You can. Now, Washington probably wasn't going to trade with us. It wasn't going to happen. But you could have traded down to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, somewhere in that range, maybe even with Las Vegas. I think they did want to trade it, but somebody wasn't willing to. You could have traded back. You could have got a huge haul for it, used that number 1 pick. Can't go back. We are where we are. And the reality is a lot of people are crapping on Caleb for things that aren't within his control. So I want to show some of those things in this game. And there's some things he can control. So let's put me right down here at the bottom where there's not as much information. So this is Caleb's rookie year. This is what a lot of people are crapping on, especially when you look at the deep ball. 4 for 21 outside left. That's beyond 20 yards. 2 for 5 middle. And 2 for 12 far right. 1 touchdown, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception total. You look at intermediate. And just to be fair, those deep balls across the league, they're less than a 50% chance of making those 20-yard ones. Now, Caleb is well below that. You see 2 for 12, that's 16%. 2 for 5, that's 40%. 4 for 21, that's roughly 24-ish%. So all of those are well below. I mean, overall, I think they said he's 19% total accuracy. Is as far as not I shouldn't say accuracy because you guys know on this channel that's adjusted completion percentage, but 19% completion percentage period on those deep balls. It's worst in the league and worst in several years. So it's bad. You look across the middle, you look shorter. He's not playing nearly as bad, but his metrics don't look good. Let's compare that to college. And obviously there's a difference playing from college to the NFL. There is going to be a difference there. 8 for 21 across the middle outside or across the outside left, 7 for 19, 14 for 29. This is his Heisman year in 2022. You go to 2023, his full season, similar results. 50% outside left, really solid deep center. 15 for 18, 5 for 19 outside right around that 50% average overall, but 158.3 NFL pass rating over the middle deep. Really, really good. And then you can see it a little bit less here in the middle. Short, everyone should be accurate. Well, how did that compare across the other 5 quarterbacks? I did that in a video where I broke it down. These blue ones, the blue sections where he was best out of any of those 5 quarterbacks across the board. Now, to be fair, short, behind the line of scrimmage, they were all equal. So they all kind of got a blue line here. But out of the 9 other sections, Caleb was best in 4 out of 5 of those. He was also worst in 3 out of 9 of those. So best in 4 out of 9, worst in 3 out of 9. What did I conclude from that? You can see here all the different areas. Let me move me all the way off for a second. And you can see, I won't leave this up long, but just on stats only grading, just grading their stats. Bo Nix was best at release time. Short passing was Jaden Daniels. Medium passing, long passing. It was Jaden Daniels' Heisman year, though. Come on. So you gotta take that into account. NFL pass rating, Jaden Daniels was the best. Bo Nix was the best adjusted completion percentage because of the type of calls they played for him. Bo Nix was the best at time to throw. Turnover worthy plays, Bo Nix was best. So you grade all those together, and I had Bo Nix as the best overall stats related. That's not taking everything. That's not taking video into account too. But Bo Nix was the best stats. You take that and it's kind of come to fruition. He's worked really well with Sean Payton's. But after my initial overall round stats evaluation, I would have taken Jaden Daniels because of his Heisman year. Bo Nix, based off of being able to trade down as well. All right, so let's get into the next section I had was the favorite quarterback to watch on film. Which one did I feel like was the best when you watch, take the stats away, which one was the best when you watch them play? They can create, they were dynamic, they had all the intangibles. It was Caleb Williams, number 1. Jaden Daniels, number 2. Drake May, number 3. Bo Nix, number 4. J.J. McCarthy, number 5. And then my final result was taking everything into consideration, how these quarterbacks play, taking the trade down and where they ranked pre-draft. Where would I want us to attack quarterback with trade down taken into? And that was the whole point. Getting the haul. Bo Nix was, some places had him late first round, some had him middle. And I said with his accuracy and the way he conducts himself in a pro-style offense, Caleb obviously is going to be less on this list because you can only take him 1-1. So for trade down value, if you could trade down to 2 and get a haul, Jaden Daniels would probably be the best there. But if you could trade down and get a real haul going down to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and get Bo Nix, that was my recommendation, my suggestion. I didn't feel like Drake May, he was too much of a project. Didn't feel like the value of just trading down 1 or 2 spots and going for him was it. So this is pre-draft, okay? Now, having said that, here's rookie year for Caleb, all right? We've talked about those deep ball, and that's what everybody's kind of crapping down on him for. And then the amount of sacks he's taken. I don't have that up on the list here, but they're saying he's not getting the ball out fast enough. He's holding the ball too long. Well, why has that changed from college to now? What's the big difference that's happened? And as we get into this week, Packers week, huge week, you get into this week, and Caleb had this ability to create. He had the ability to escape. He had the ability to play off platform. His deep ball, when you look at his scouting report, his accuracy was one of the biggest things about him, that he could throw off platform, that he could hit the targets that nobody else could hit, that he was really a special quarterback with his arm. Well, why is he only 4 for 21 deep left with 3 interceptions? Why is he over the middle 2 for 5 with 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and outside right 1 touchdown, 1 interception? So overall 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions when you're going past 20 yards. Why are they scrutinizing him now? What's going on? What's happening with Caleb that's caused this problem? And there's a big reason that Shane Waldron was let go. And I'm going to show a couple things here, and I'll play a couple little clips. But Bill Zimmerman up top left, this is a day ago. Do we think the now fired offensive coordinator that liked to take deep shots in Seattle did this? Or the conservative defensive-minded head coach who likes to tell his quarterback to never turn the ball over and never take a sack and smack the Caleb Williams out of Caleb Williams? That's huge, guys. We got to talk about that. Because some people are saying the word scapegoat for Matt Eberflus, and I don't like to use that term because, yes, someone got fired, so it's like, okay, he got fired instead of that scapegoat. But the reality is Matt Eberflus's seat is hotter than anybody else in the NFL. If Matt Eberflus doesn't turn this thing around, even though they've already fired Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown is now the one calling the plays, if Eberflus doesn't turn it around, it's clear and obvious inside Hallis Hall, too, that this is true, what Bill Zimmerman said. He is being coached differently. It's being coached out of him. And we all know that from Justin Fields, too. Justin Fields was the same thing in college. When he played at Ohio State, he was one of the top quarterbacks in the entire league. His accuracy, his throwing, everything about him. He was also developmental. We knew that, and I liked how he improved every year. But this clearly wasn't a Justin Fields problem. This clearly is not a Caleb Williams problem. In fact, there was a funny little on Twitter. It's a meme or whatever you want to call it, where from Good Will Hunting, where Robin Williams is saying it's not your fault to Matt Damon. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. And then they put the words below it. This is Justin Fields telling Caleb Williams, Matt Damon in this instance. And I don't know if you guys remember the scene from the film, but then Matt Damon starts breaking down and crying. It's not your fault. It's not their. It really isn't their fault. You look at Daniel Jeremiah. Biggest issue for Caleb Williams right now, playing tentative. He's not cutting it loose. He's trying too hard to avoid mistakes, and then he's guiding the ball. It's almost like it's been beaten into him. Don't screw up. The offensive line isn't good, but the bigger problem right now, but this is the bigger problem, he's having it coached out of him, guys. We've taken a generational quarterback and we're coaching it out of him that he has to play it safe. Don't turn the ball over. And he's not. He's not turning the ball over. But are we winning when he's not turning the ball over? Is that creating the success for us that we wanted? That ability for him to be you've seen some of those throws. You saw it in the preseason. That throw rolling out left, down the sideline, across his body to Rome Odunze, 50 yards down the field. That was special. Now, you've seen a couple of those in the season where he's looking like he's about to go out of bounds to the right, giving up on the play and just gonna take the loss. And then Cole Kmet is open. Just a nice little touch on it, 15 yards, hits Cole Kmet, and away we go. Same thing for DJ Moore. There's specialness in him, but it's almost like he's afraid to take those shots. He's afraid to put it where it needs to go, so he's overthrowing it a lot. He underthrew it to DJ Moore outright on a play that they should have hit on easy because he's trying to get it out of the defender's way. They're taking the specialness out of Caleb and making him this ultra conservative. They're trying to make him Andy Dalton. Don't turn the ball over. Don't turn it over and we'll be fine. It's not true. We drafted this generational quarterback to be special for a reason. And Shane Waldron, yes, he called some really stupid stuff. In fact, this is from the offensive line committee. I don't know how much trouble I'll get in for playing stuff from there, but it's a little short from them. Look at this one play.
With a right-handed quarterback who has not
been having a hell of a year. Try not to get in trouble from YouTube or anything. But this play, they're rolling out left, and it was clearly supposed to be rolled out right. This is on Shane Waldron.
Immediately.
I mean, this is a bad play.
Yes.
And when Caleb knew that was coming, and I understand you guys
hear right open
them over me, and I'm sorry, that's a little bit jumbled.
If he's sprinting out to the right,
let me turn them down a little bit. But you can see he's supposed to get it out to Cole Kmet right there. And when he doesn't, it's toast for him, and he's just like, oh, crap, I'm just going to take this sack. I mean, that was bad, very bad. And they said, and I'm going to get rid of that now because I just don't want to get in trouble on this thing, guys. They said on there that was the one play that got Shane Waldron fired. But the reality is Shane Waldron was very tentative the whole time he was here. In fact, you heard stories about the players having to come to him and say, coach us up. Don't be afraid to coach us up. Having to come to him and have a team meeting and say, hey, we don't like the way this is going. Let's fix it. Now, there's a lot of rumors and a lot of narratives about saying the players called for him to get fired, players saying they wanted Tyson Bagent to take over. I don't buy half that crap. When you watch the press conference, they don't sound that way. This is the Chicago media market. There's narratives that abound like crazy, but when you listen and you watch those things, you see it. When you see Caleb on the sideline rolling his eyes at Shane Waldron, he's frustrated the same way you saw Justin Fields get frustrated last year. They want to play quarterback. They want to play special. They want to play for the reason that they made it to the league and people saw the specialness in them. They're playing that same way. And then right here from Bears season, this is the response to Daniel Jeremiah. So the Daniel Jeremiah there is the same one that's up above. First it was with Justin Fields. Now it's with Caleb Williams. Nothing worse for a quarterback's development than a conservative defensive head coach who is scared to let his quarterback play without limitations. I'm afraid as long as Matt Eberflus is the head coach of this team, we will never let a quarterback grip it and rip it and do his thing. They'll never let him be Pat Mahomes. They'll never let him be even C.J. Stroud or even Jordan Love. Jordan Love, I crap on because he's so inaccurate and he makes turnovers. But he also has those plays every once in a while where he gets lucky or where he does hit a big throw because they let him. They're not going to let Caleb do that. They've got to continue to open up. They've got to continue to let him play his style. They got to let him check it down, but they got to let him. They can't overcoach him. On the left is a video from Chase Daniel where he said he's being overcoached. That's the reason they fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. It's true. They've overcoached this kid. They're already ruining Caleb Williams. So my hope right now is that Thomas Brown saw some of that from Bryce Young last year, and he's witnessed it this year. And there was a good point brought up. I don't know who said it. I've been listening to so much crap on this, guys. So I'm sorry that I don't have the reference on this one. There was a point that was made where when someone within the building takes over, very frequently you see where they had an opposing point of view, and then they install that point of view, and they take over with it, and the team rallies around it. That's my hope right now, is that Thomas Brown saw some things. He tried to voice those things to Shane Waldron, to Matt Eberflus, and it wasn't being heard very much. And he said, look, what do we got to lose? Let's do this. Caleb, you can't be afraid to throw an interception. You got to put it where you would put it. You got to use your abilities. You got to use your talents. And you got to grip it and rip it and throw it. You got to put it where it needs to go. And take that tentative. Let him make the mistakes. Take the tentative nature away from him because they've instilled. It's been 10 weeks now and off season and preseason and everything involved up to here of ripping this kid's natural talent, generational talent away from him. So I'm going to go back to the very beginning here. Do I think we made the wrong choice at quarterback? No. It's where we are now at this point. Caleb has some big-time ability. He's got some ability to have some. You saw it in a couple of the games. He was the most accurate quarterback in the league for a couple of weeks. You've seen it. Matt Eberflus has even preached that. We've seen it. We've seen it happen with him. There is the special in there. Why is he regressing, though? You guys be the judge. My reality right now is it started with Eberflus, and back to the whole scapegoat thing. I don't think Shane Waldron's a scapegoat. I think he was part of the problem. The two of these guys together, Matt Eberflus, Shane Waldron, they were a problem. Tentative nature, conservative nature, not letting him. I mean, we had Cliff Kingsbury right there for the taking, and we passed up on him for some reason. I think he would have pushed back, and maybe he didn't want the job with Matt Eberflus. That might have been a reality. Maybe they did want Cliff Kingsbury, and he didn't want to work with Matt Eberflus. Nobody's talking about that, but there's a reality there. These guys also get to choose where they go. He might have wanted to work with Caleb. He might have seen Matt Eberflus and said, I don't think this is going to go the way I want it to go. I'm not going there. I'd rather go and work somewhere else where my voice is going to be heard and I'm going to be able to do this. So, do I think the Bears are going to make the playoffs anymore? Probably not. Not with Matt Eberflus as the coach. So, this is my rant. This is my rave on Matt Eberflus. I think he's too much of a pussyfoot to be able to get things done in Chicago. I think he's too much of a pussyfoot, and by pussyfoot, I made the reference the other day. That's an old term where you're a cat and you tiptoe and you're just trying to balance around and you're not going to be aggressive and go do your thing. I think he's too much of a pussyfoot. I don't think he can get it done. I don't think he can let Caleb succeed in this league. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Thomas Brown can be able to have his voice. I hope Matt Eberflus realizes his seat's so hot that he needs to get out of his own effing way. I really do hope that's the reality of this situation. And I hope that they can be able to let Caleb flourish because there is talent there. When you watch the tape before the season, he was the funnest one to watch on tape. He was. He didn't have the best stats this last year. He didn't have the best metrics or all that stuff. But when you combine it all together, there's a reason he went number one overall. For the trade back in Hall, there was more value other places. And I really feel like there is 3 or 4 quarterbacks that can be franchise quarterbacks. But Caleb has the best talent and opportunity to be the best one of them if the coaches will get out of his way. All right, so that's my thoughts on the matter. Tell me what you guys think, because I really do believe it's a multifaceted problem. I don't think it's a scapegoat. I think this was the beginning of the firings. I think Matt Eberflus's seat is super hot. The only way for him to save his job at this point is if he starts listening to other people, start listening to Thomas Brown's. Thomas Brown in his press conference was really impressive to me. The one thing that stuck out was when he said about the pressure. He said, pressure's a good thing. I like the pressure because if you don't want the pressure, you're in the wrong position. You're in the wrong situation. Pressure makes people thrive. That's not an exact quote, but that's what he said. I like that. I want to see Thomas Brown say, you know what? What's working is not working. What's happening is not working. I want to let this kid rip loose. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to get to the root of it, and I'm going to have these players take more control of it. And I'm not going to make him afraid to throw an interception. I'm not going to make him afraid to lose a game because we need to win the game on offense, not lose it. They're trying not to lose it. They need to win it. The defense is doing their job, and obviously just having the offense sit back is not working. That's my thoughts on the matter. Hope you guys enjoy the rant. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you like this, please hit the like. Either way, it helps me with the algorithm, so I do appreciate it. Until next time, bear down.